UN agencies, especially UNDP, to make sure that we implement this project to its fullest. This project will last for 3 years from now to 2027.
The High Commissioner of India to Sierra Leone emphasized India's commitment to inclusive development, noting that persons living with disabilities are important members of our society. Supporting their empowerment is not charity, it is justice.
Definitely, it is a 1 million, close to $1 million fund, 990,000 to be precise. That will be substantially a good number, but it is not the how many this project will benefit, but the importance that this project will inspire the society, the government, and other agencies to do more for this, the this especially disadvantaged people in the country and society. This will be kind of a model for the the government and the institutions who try to improve the livelihood of the people.
The project marks one of the most significant efforts to date in addressing the systemic exclusion of persons with disabilities in the country, paving the way for a more equitable and empowered future. For SLBC News, Esther Suzanette Bassi reporting.
President Julius Madabu has commissioned the operations of the City Seaport and Logistics Sierra Leone Limited. The ceremony took place in Mafoki Chiefdom, Putsoko District. The $300 million project in Mafoki promises thousands of jobs, economic growth, and the export of 5 million tons of bauxite every year. Our status correspondent, Musire, brings us more details.
Excitement filled Mafoki Chiefdom as locals welcomed President Julius Madabu for the official launch of City Seaport and Logistics. The long-awaited project is now live thanks to what the president calls his government's focused leadership. President Julius Madabu said the project, awarded in 2022, started exporting before the year even ended.
In November 2022, CTC company, mining company, was awarded a block of bauxite concession. And in May 2023, barely 7 months after, they already started exporting bauxite. And not too long after that, the Ministry of Transport and Aviation informed me that the CTC Ports and Logistics wanted to build and operate a seaport for mineral exports. They started the construction in November 2024, and today we are here to commission that project. Thank you for working so hard. The determination of these companies to deliver results is incredible, as we can all attest. But I'm even more proud of the accomplishment because this is a 50% owned Sierra Leone venture.
He called the CTC a 50% Sierra Leone owned venture and urged locals to work closely with the company. The president also highlighted recent payouts in Tonkolili district where 2 chiefdoms received billions of leones in benefits.
I want to say that you are a shining example to other Sierra Leoneans that have business acumen and talent to successfully deliver for our people in the private sector. It also demonstrates that Sierra Leone's readiness to do business and that our efforts to create a conducive investment climate are manifesting real results on the state-of-art infrastructure development. As the investment pipeline grows, we remain committed to undertaking deeper and more significant reforms because private sector development is critical to changing our development story in Sierra Leone. As we continue to make significant investments in human capital development, some which is among the highest in the continent. We must facilitate the demand for that talent in the private sector.
Minister of Mines and Mineral Resources, Julius Matai, praised CTC for what he called a milestone achievement. He said the company worked closely with his ministry to deliver results.
We stand at the threshold of a new era for Sierra Leone, a day of celebration, pride and hope. With the launch of this newly constructed Mafoki port at the estuary of the Mangasuka River, we are not merely opening an infrastructure, we are unlocking the gateway to investment, prosperity, progress, and partnership for our nation. Ladies and gentlemen, this milestone is the fruit of visionary leadership, steadfast commitment, and strategic collaboration.
Chief Executive Officer of CTC, Hisham Maki, thanked the government for its support. He said the ports will boost the economy and create jobs nationwide.
Not long ago, this coastline was a little more than untouched land. Today, we unveil a fully operational, privately funded port facility, a modern gateway to our country's bauxite wealth and strategic asset for broader national development. This would not have been possible without the inspiring leadership and steadfast support of His Excellency, President Dr. Julius Maada Bio, whose commitment to progress has made today's ceremony not only possible, but inevitable. Mr. President, Mafoki Port is a tangible embodiment of your talk and do philosophy. Your trust in our vision encourages us to dream boldly, act decisively. Thank you, sir.
Project Chairperson Islik Wang explained how the ports will run alongside other CTC operations. She thanked community members for their support and promised continued collaboration.
Today we gather here to witness the opening of Mafoki Port. This historical moment marks the official commencement of its operation. First and foremost, on behalf of all the shareholders of Mafoki Port, we extend our deepest gratitude for Your Excellency, Mr. President, and all ministers and dignitaries, the Parliament Chief, for your unwavering support. It's your trust and dedication have transformed Mafoki Port from a blueprint into reality.
Chinese Ambassador to Sierra Leone, Queen Wang, also praised President Bio for his leadership. He said the project shows strong China-Sierra Leone ties and years of hard work. From job creation to exports, the CTC Ports project signals a new chapter for Port Loko and Sierra Leone's economy. For Slbc TV News in Mafoki Chiefdom, Moswe reporting from Port Loko District.
The head of European Union delegation to Sierra Leone, Ambassador Jacek Jankowski, has launched several development projects for 7 local councils, including Konami Sembel City Council, Freetown City Council, and Kenema District Council, among others. The 3.5 million euros project to build capacity of local councils, improve public financial for the implementation of local development plans, improve the development outcomes, and enhance service delivery to the citizens, and managing and mobilizing public sector resources, among other things. Here is an excerpt of his statement during the launching ceremony of the EU House at Slbc.
These projects reaffirm the importance of local authorities in achieving development objectives and seek to support your empowerment for good governance and improved development outcomes. Through promotion of decentralization reforms, capacity and institutional development. Let me congratulate the Kailahun District Council, Western Rural Area District Council, Bo District Council, Falaba District Council, Koidu New Semberhun City Council, Kenema City Council and Freetown City Council for designing a high-quality project proposal that promotes an approach to development where community members and other local stakeholders will benefit from better coordination among authorities in executing devolved functions and increase responsiveness of local councils to citizens' priorities. Through building the institutional and operational capacities of your respective councils, these actions will ensure long-term sustainability of outcomes. This is in line with the European Union's global approach to empowering local authorities for enhanced governance and more effective development outcomes. It is also in line with the national priorities laid out in the government's Big Five agenda. We believe decentralization should allow people to actively participate in their development. It lays the foundation for improved and much more direct accountability of governments to the people they represent, and allows for a true local leadership through the district and city councils, who are in charge of local development. We can only achieve the sustainable development goals with local empowerment and action. In the administrations and in recent years, insufficient and often unreliable resources to deliver adequate services. This is crucial that they receive more appropriate and dependable resources to ensure they can deliver the essential services that communities rely on. It is against this backdrop that the European Union is providing €3.5 million for the implementation of these projects.
Head of European Delegation to Sierra Leone Ambassador Jan Kroske. The Chairman Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, Honorable Slbc, has said that the committee is compiling its report findings and recommendations gathered during their spot check of the ongoing Tomabom Rural Road project in Bol Chiefdom District. As Dennis Fraser reports, Honorable Sise noted that although the committee was impressed with its findings, but would ensure that the recommendations are treated with the utmost seriousness.
So let us not point fingers.
The spot check by members of the Committee on Agriculture started with an important meeting with major sector players on behalf of government and the public to analyze the progress and prospects in the ongoing Tomabom Rural Road project in Bom Chiefdom both districts, financed by both the Arab Bank for Economic Development and the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security Rural Rice Value Chain project.
Lot more work still done. Lots of work done. It's a very hard terrain, very difficult terrain. I appreciate all the effort that they've done, but a hard terrain, but we still need to do it. Our people don't have excuses. When they say feed salon, they say Toma, but when people are hungry, they don't want excuses from us. That's why I keep coming here, and I won't stop until we are able to achieve what we set out to achieve.
According to the chairman, Honorable Slbc, the field visit was to assess the progress of work done by Pavifort Construction Company, and also to get first-hand information on the challenges the contractor has been encountering.
What we saw on the field is marvelous. It's laudable. It's a very good job. for Pavifort. I'm proud as a Sierra Leonean to see a Sierra Leonean company, a local company, doing shots in Sierra Leone. It is a capital-intensive project. It's very expensive. And when you go on the ground, you look at what is happening, you know that they have done tremendously well. We hope that based on our findings and as Parliament, our findings will be taken seriously.
The Director of Operations, Pavifort Al Associates Limited, Joel Lawson, said the contract was an international competitive bidding contract and was awarded after presenting their technical and financial proposal as the most responsive bidder. He added that they had both the technical and mechanical expertise, for which he said they have completed up to 80% on Sector 1 of the project, which started in March and is expected to be completed in November this year. The total cost of the project, he said, is estimated to worth over $10 million United States dollars, of which they had only received less than $4 million.
It's really very costly. But that's notwithstanding, we have won the project on this amount, and we're a reputable company. We are doing all our best to deliver. We just want people here to have an insight of what the cost is involved in this project.
Members of Parliament were also taken on a conducted tour of the ongoing cultivation of the 2025 planting season, plowing an allowed land of over 1,000 hectares for the cultivation of rice. During the tour, the chairman and other stakeholders said they were impressed with the work done so far, but stressed that the committee will table their findings in Parliament and copy the donors. Slbc, Dennis Fraser reporting.
The Sierra Leone Business and Transformation Project, through the Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Technology and DSTI, has concluded a day validation workshop on digital skills ecosystem assessment and gig economy feasibility study. The report, fully funded by World Bank, aims to create inclusive employment opportunities in Sierra Leone. Cynthia Kamara joined other members in our report.
Digital technology and economic stability being the foundation for nation building, the workshop serves as an eye-opener, and the report seeks to assess the potential of digital gig economy and also create inclusive employment opportunities in Sierra Leone by targeting youth, women, and persons living with disability. Specific objective that the report target was an in-depth assessment of current and forecasted digital skills demand in Sierra Leone, identifying existing gaps in the digital skills supply chain, and analyze the country's potential to participate and benefit from the global Sierra Leone gig economy. The report by PLC consulting firm on the digital skills economy assessment and gig economy feasibility studies indicates that Sierra Leone possesses significant potential for gig economic growth, driven by a large underemployed youth population with comparative advantages like widespread English proficiency and a favorable time zone for European markets. The report also revealed that the country's readiness for widespread participation is low, citing underdeveloped digital infrastructure, significant data illiteracy gap, and lack of specific labor protections for gig workers, among others.
This particular project.
Well, in this particular case, the government has to ensure we have effective monitoring and evaluation of the implementation of these recommendations that we've put in place, okay, that we've made to government. It's one thing to formulate policies. As I was saying, even the roadmap that we've given government, we haven't stopped there. We've developed, as part of this study, we've even done a baseline assessment. So now government has access to empirical evidence, empirical data as to the state of the digital landscape in Sierra Leone.
Director and CEO of DSTI, Jasper Simbi, emphasized on the impact and need for employers to familiarize themselves with the trend of digital knowledge. However, the recommendations were not limited to expanding inclusive access reach for learners in rural areas, invest in trainer capacity and content innovation, formulate and enact a Data Protection Act, and the need to establish a strong public-private partnership. Regional Secretary SLTU Fode Kuyate believed that digital skills must start from primary school to have a desired result as a country.
If the child starts learning the computer at the primary school level, believe me, at the end of the primary school, that child will be able to use the computer. And if that child goes to secondary school and continues using the computer, the child will know a lot of things about digital education, and that child will be self-reliant.
The comprehensive study was done in 5 administrative regions, including Western Area and Southern Province, featuring over 700 survey respondents, both the public and private sector. Having 75% population under age 35 with high structural unemployment, mostly graduates that lacks digital skills, is a wake-up call for proper scrutiny of the report for the betterment of the country's development. For Slbc News, Cynthia Kama reporting.
The Archdiocese of Freetown Catholic Women's Association celebrated its 25th annual Thanksgiving Mass at St. Edward's Parish, Kingdom, marking its Silver Jubilee alongside this year's Mother's Day celebration.
The Silver Jubilee celebration brought together Catholic women from across the Archdiocese, members of the clergy, parishioners, and guests, all decorated in joyful Jubilee colors to honor the milestone of spiritual service, sisterhood, and nation building. Madam Juliet Mosse, President of Archdiocese of Freetown Catholic Women Association, expressed profound gratitude to God for sustaining the association over the years and hailed the commitments and contributions of the women, past and present, whose efforts have nurtured ACWA's growth and vibrancy within the Archdiocese.
To the poor, your prayers for the sick and your solidarity in time of need continue to reflect the true mission of the Catholic womanhood. As we celebrate this Jubilee, let us renew our commitment to serve the Church and one another. Let us continue to be beacons of light, agents of peace, and vessels of compassion in our homes, parishes, and communities, inspired by the example of the Blessed Virgin Mary, our model of humility, strength, and obedience to God's will.
Delivering the homily, Reverend Father Titus passionately called on mothers to embrace unity and take up their God-given roles as nurturers of faith and morality in society. He emphasized the crucial role of mothers in training their children in the fear of God, noting that such spiritual guidance lays the foundation for national development and peace.
And that is why I say to you, mothers, value your motherhood as a preschool for good family life and vocation to the priesthood and religious life. Train your children and know that you as mama, you get work. Forget about the papa them. Yes, sometimes you will be lucky as a woman to get a good husband that pays attention to the children.
The celebration featured Thanksgiving offerings and many other performances, activities, and a revitalization of commitments by ACWA members to continue serving the Church and society through faith, charity, and leadership. The Archdiocesan Catholic Women's Association remains a strong pillar in promoting the spiritual growth of Catholic women and advancing the Church's mission in Sierra Leone. For Slbc News, Jonathan Turner reporting.
Union of Academic Staff Association has hosted a 3-day retreat on the role of tertiary institutions in promoting quality education and the Big 5 game changers. The retreat in Kenema was hosted to examine the challenges of the Big 5 and to fill its gaps through adequate research. Mohamed Kroma reports.
Members of Union of Academic Staff Associations have seen the need to participate in government's national development agenda, especially the Big 5 game changers, which they believe they have not been fully involved in spite of their critical role. The association is currently on a 3-day retreat in Kenema district to examine gaps in the Big 5 and profile possible solutions to fill the gaps.
Of course,
the system might have done something wonderful in the area of quality education and also these 5 big changes. It's our responsibility as academics to merge them together, to anchor them in universities. Colleagues will begin to debate on it. Critical thinkers will begin to merge and converge and come up with critical analysis. That will be our own contributions, how we should map the way forward so that that present system of governance will be able to achieve the policies to develop.
A representative of Kenema City Council, Ibrahim Gaba, recognized the crucial role of universities in empowering young people with knowledge and skills that resonate with the evolving job market.
By offering diverse programs that cater to various interests and career paths, these institutions empower students to pursue their passion while equipping them with the competencies needed to succeed.
Public Relations Officer of Tertiary Education Commission, Crispus Charles Macaulay, acknowledged the role of tertiary institutions to national development, adding that universities are crucial to achieving the Big Five. The academic staff emphasized the need for adequate research to achieve government's agenda, especially on field salon and entrepreneurship. For SLBC, Mohamed Kouma reporting.
As part of its service above self, the Rotary Club of Freetown has joined other members across the world to engage in charitable and service-oriented projects aimed at uplifting the needs and communities at large. Rotary Club of Freetown has made similar visits to King George IV Memorial Home for the Aged in Grafton with essential food items. Cynthia Camara reports.
Giving is a fulfilling activity that brings satisfaction and inner growth, fostering goodwill, advancing peace, and promoting integrity through charitable service-oriented projects is among the activities of Rotary clubs across the world. Rotarian in Sierra Leone, however, has joined its members across the world to undertake numerous humanitarian projects. Relying strongly on support, King George's Memorial Home received appreciable cooking condiment, assorted food items, and clothing to support the inmates. Past President, Rotary Club of Sierra Leone, Sibyl Baylor, reaffirmed their unwavering support to the home for the past 15 years, citing their concern for the aged.
A long way. I mean, we know the challenges in terms of cost of living, and running an outfit like this, it is very expensive. So this, I mean, it will not solve all the problems, but it will go some way to cushion the effect of the challenges with the cost of living and the cost of purchasing food items on a daily basis here. So as you could see, there are a number of things we bought that would support.
The visit, according to Rotarian Nimata Majetwoka, also includes a token as an alternative to their pressing demand. Receiving the items, committee member of King George's Memorial Home, Sylvia Williams, applauded Rotary Club of Freetown for being a committed and reliable partners to the home.
We're happy, we're glad. Rotarian are going for the come all 10. So we don't expect them. We're happy with their country here. We tell them thank you, thank you, thank you. God will bless them first, and they don't always forget King George VI Memorial Home.
Rotary Club is a global network of professionals united to take action and build a lifelong friendship through service. Their visit to King George's Memorial Home stands as a lasting impact in Sierra Leone. The home is, however, calling on other organizations for aid as they are presently constrained with safe drinking water, which has been a major challenge for the inmates. Cynthia Kamara reporting for SLBC News.
The Sierra Leone Meteorological Agency has released its forecast for rainy season this year. The forecast warns of an above-average rainfall during major months in the rainy season and the potential climate-related hazards. Its forecast covers a good climate characteristics of the season. Esther Nene reports.
The press conference held in Freetown, the Sierra Leone Meteorological Agency unveiled its 2025 rainy season forecast, with key highlights pointing to a wetter than usual rainy season and early warnings of possible climate hazards. According to the Deputy Director General of Sierra Leone Meteorological Agency, Gabriel Parker, the June, July and August period is expected to experience above average rainfall. This trend is also expected to continue in July, August, and September. Period across the country, raising concern about increased vulnerability to climate risk across several parts of the country.
Still, Freetown is showing a lot of rainfall, right? Light blue. And then, of course, Makini is showing a lot of more rains, right? And they have like the Tonkolili, the Moyamba, and then all that. So it show you the amount of rainfall that we are trying to get for most of these areas. Let's say if I check for Freetown, you have to trace this color with the color around there. So it's like around 1,400 millimeters of rainfall.
For the agriculture sector, the forecast carries both opportunities and challenges. The Western Area urban and rural districts, along with Sonkolili, Bond and other parts of the country, are expected to experience an early planting season. However, Koinaduga and Falaba district are projected to witness a late planting season, which could affect agricultural productivity in those regions.
You know, because rain is supposed to end what? In October. Yeah. Last day. But for the planting calendar, you look at the end of the rain, in which the ground can hold up to 70 millimeters of rain, okay? Because that can be like, we know now we have been drinking, maybe around something around, just a little bit around this one in this thing here. So across the whole country, we're going to have late rain. That tells that even in November, we're going to have some drops of rain, okay?
The presentation further revealed that Freetown has consistently recorded the highest amount of rainfall over the past 3 decades, reinforcing the city's exposure to flooding. Highlighting the climate risk for 2025, the agency warned of a high likelihood of localized flooding, especially in urban and low-lying communities. Other predicted hazards include strong winds, thunderstorms, lightning, and upwelling factors that could pose threats to infrastructure, agriculture, and human safety. The Sierra Leone Meteorological Agency urges relevant authorities, farmers, and residents to take the necessary preparedness measures ahead of the peak of the rainy season.
Commit and Act Foundation Sierra Leone has officially opened a new office in Aberdeen, Freetown, marking a major milestone in its mission to promote sexual and reproductive health and rights, combat gender-based violence, and empower vulnerable communities across the country. Jonathan Tona tells us more.
The new office will serve as a central hub for the Foundation's growing network of advocacy programs, service delivery efforts, and psychosocial support initiatives. Commit and Act has been operating in Sierra Leone since 2013 with a consistent focus on helping communities to address sexual and gender-based violence by connecting, caring, and catering. Founder and country director Hannah Kittel-Vonjo said their vision was to ensure that regardless of circumstance, people are empowered to live according to their values and support others in doing the same, adding that the new space will help deepen community engagement, provide better services, and enhance advocacy impact across the country.
The foundation itself has created so much impact, and I believe that because we have scaled up to the capital city, we are going to touch many lives. One of the things that we are looking forward to see how best we can work with like-minded organizations to handle the issue of sexual gender-based violence, and also work closely with the ministries, line ministries. And also we believe that girls will be saved as a result of our interventions and our operations in this city. We will be able to address a lot of challenges faced by young women and girls.
The foundation's work spans several districts, including Bo, Bombali, and Tonkolili, where it leads efforts to increase the availability, accessibility, and the use of high-quality SRHR information and services.
Commit and Act is one of our partners that we have been working with for long, but they are based in the north and the south, and so for them to open an office space in Freetown, I think is a laudable event, and the ministry is pleased to be part of this journey.
Bottom-up approach. So now it's a big thing for them. Like I spoke to the director a few days ago, I told her getting an office space in Freetown, we actually help to visibility, help in your visibility of your work, because they are doing so much but reporting less. They are not reporting. When you go down to the community, when you go down to the field, when you speak to the beneficiaries, you realize they are doing so much.
The opening of the Aberdeen office signals the organization's commitment to expanding its reach and strengthening its operational capacity in the capital and beyond, as Sierra Leone continues to tackle deep-rooted challenges around gender-based violence and reproductive health, commits and acts stands as a critical force for change, restoring dignity, finding resilience, and building a future of equality for all. For SLBC News, Jonathan Turner reporting.
It's now time for the latest sports updates. On the absence of our sports updates, we end the news, but before we close, here is a recap of the main points. The Vice President, Dr. Mohamed Choudhury Jallow, has reaffirmed Sierra Leone's solidarity to the South-South and Triangular Corporation for Sustainable Development, stating he will partner with other members of the Global South to complement efforts in reshaping the new international order. The Sierra Leone Business and Transformation Project in the Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Technology and DSTI has concluded a day validation workshop on digital skills ecosystem assessments and gig economy feasibility study. And the Ministry of Social Welfare signed a memorandum of understanding with the Indian government and UNDP to empower persons living with disability in the country under the framework of South-South Triangular Corporation. That's all in the news. I am Aminata Fofana. Thanks for watching.
The death is reported of Mr. Kenneth Paul Momo, who passed away on Wednesday, the 7th of May, at the Freetown Hospital in Freetown. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call at his residence, Polio Junction, Youth Farm, Joy, or call on the following numbers: 078-531-019, 079125-725, or 099-464-639. The death is reported of Reverend T.C. Wells, aged 80. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call at King William Street off Freetown Road, Market. Peace be still, my child. Peace be still. The death took place on Saturday, the 3rd of May, of Mr. Frederick Agbandi Sogbandi Walker, aged 85, a former lecturer at Furabe College Population Studies Department. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call at 18 Alpha Ui Drive, Hill Station, or call on mobile numbers 078-581-261 or 076-805-810. With gratitude to God for a life well spent, the family at home and abroad announces the death of their dear father, uncle, brother, son, and grandfather, Mr. Wilfred Tunde-Luke, formerly of 61 Lumley Road, Wilberforce, which took place on Monday the 14th of April, aged 88. He is survived by his wife, Mrs. Erica Luke, children, Barbara Luke Commander, Hannah Smith, ASP Trisha Luke, and Reverend Sam Kondo, sister, Mrs. Ivy Gray in the UK, aunt, Mrs. Europa Agu, several in-laws, nieces, nephews, cousins, grandchildren, close relatives, and friends at home and abroad. A vigil will be held on Tuesday the 13th of May at St. Paul's Parish Church, Wilberforce at 7 p.m. The body will be laid out on Wednesday the 14th of May at the canopy of St. John the Evangelist Church, Brookfields. Funeral and communion service will take place on Wednesday 14th May at St. John the Evangelist Church, Brookfields at 1 p.m. Burial at the Kingdom Cemetery.
And all rejoicing brought me in death's dark veil. I fear no ill.
The 10th of May marks the 5th anniversary of the death of Moses Abiose Mbimakadre, who died on the 10th of May 2020. K, as we used to call you, we love you so much, but Jesus loves you more. Continue to rest in peace till we meet to part no more. From Kadi and the rest of the family at home and abroad.
Peace bestoweth, and oh, a transport of delight from thy pure chalice flow. Let this blessed assurance control.
The day took place on Thursday the 1st of May of the dearly beloved husband, father, brother, uncle, grandfather, and friend, retired Superintendent of Police, Mr. Frederick Fodiconte. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call on 076 460 076 617 281 or 0885 41 350. The death is reported of Madam Philippa Onike Gray, which took place on Friday the 2nd of May, aged 74. Funeral arrangements will be announced later. Sympathizers may call on 079 718 515, 099 007 359, 078 485 713, or call on Mayama Banks of Way Drive, Mambo, or 15 Abbott Street, Frabe, between 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. The death announced of Mrs. Sierra Williams Nichali of 4A Taylor Street of Wellington and of 35 Charles Street. She died on the 15th of April, aged 78. She survived by children, Mr. Joseph Williams in the UK, Mr. Edward Williams in Italy, and Mrs. Connie Fisher in Freetown. In-laws, Mrs. Faye Williams, Mrs. Fanny Williams, and Mr. Dunstan Fisher. Brother Sumaila Charlie, sisters Isasa Charlie and Massa Squire. Grandchildren, Josephine Margaret Williams, Edward Williams, Ford Kamara, Kome Williams, Trevor R. Williams, Bintu Charlie, Maxwell F. Kamara, Kome Bangura, Celia Showers, Cyril Showers, Victor Segbe, and Abimbola Fisher. There will be a vigil on Tuesday the 13th of May at the King Memorial United Methodist Church, Regent Road off Circular Road at 7:30 p.m. Laying out is at the King Memorial United Methodist Church on Wednesday the 14th of May, followed by funeral and communion service at 1:30 p.m. Burial at the Ascension Town Cemetery. Sympathizers may call at 35 Charles Street or 4A Taylor Street of Wellington, or colon 076 609 307 or 099 456 442.
Got something in your life right now that's taking longer than it should if God is big? Okay.
Around the water side, lovely fish.
Today is Monday, the 12th of May 2025, and it is a pleasant morning and a warm welcome to your program Good Morning Sierra Leone, the program that always starts your day. I am Sheku Smail.
And Francis Bernard is my name. Our quote of the day is from James Brown, an educationalist from South Africa, and it says, "The beautiful thing about learning is that no one can take it away from you." In the program this morning, National Public Health Agency speaks on the current status of Mpox in the country. Teaching Service Commission conducts nationwide teachers assessment, and Sierra Leone Students Loan Scheme Secretariat to offer educational loan to less privileged students. These stories plus more are lined up in this edition of the program. You are invited to participate by sending your comment and views to the number on your screen, or you go to our Facebook page, Slbc TV Live. This is Good Morning Sierra Leone, and we are broadcasting live from Broadcasting House, New England View in Freetown.
We are back, and the watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation television and through our social media handles. This is Good Morning Sierra Leone, coming to you live from Broadcasting House, New England View in Freetown. Well, as you may have heard, Mpox, now known as monkeypox, now known as Mpox, is a viral disease caused by the monkeypox virus, which belongs to the Orthopovirus genus. The virus was first discovered in 1958 in monkeys. Since then, the virus is now affecting, or has been affecting humans. On the 10th January this year, the government of Sierra Leone, through the National Public Health Agency and the Ministry of Health, confirmed its first case of Mpox. Consequently, health authorities in Sierra Leone officially declared Mpox as a public health emergency as a result of a rise or surge in cases. But where is Sierra Leone at present in the fight against an Mpox? Well, in the studios to talk more on this is Harold Thomas. Mr. Thomas is a risk communication lead and health education program manager, Ministry of Health. Good morning, Mr. Thomas, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, thank you.
Now, for the past couple of days, we've been experiencing surge in Mpox cases across the country, which has raised alarm. You know, in fact, now the Mpox that we are seeing probably is different from the ones that came first. Now we are seeing how it is reacting on people, how it is affecting people. Now tell us more about the surge in the first place, and then this particular how it is now affecting people. Is this one different from the one that came first, or what is happening? Let us know. Give us all it.
Yeah, we all know on the 10th of January we had the first case, and then immediately thereafter the Minister of Health declared it as a public health emergency, and this is the reason because people were asking why just one case. But we usually tell people that Mpox is a disease of contact, and it is an epidemic prone disease, meaning like one case can go to 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, like in arithmetic progression, and then sometimes it will begin to jump like from 30 to 35 to 40, 50 and things like that. And then you are saying Mpox, the presentation is quite if it's a different Mpox. It is not. When we have the mpox case, we actually identify the virus as mpox, and then we further did some sequencing. We call it genomic sequencing, and then it was proving that the mpox that we have in Sierra Leone is the clade 2B, which is different from the one that is circulating in the Congo River Basin, that is in East African country, which is more serious, and the case fatality is between 32-35%. But this one is declared 2B that circulates in the sub-region in a number of countries. And since 2022, this particular strain has affected hundreds of thousands of people across the sub-region with hundreds of deaths. But now it's not that we are seeing a different mpox, but outbreaks comes in waves. The first wave we had like those numbers 10, 15 and all that, and so on. And the second wave, it was like an increased number because we actually did some efforts to do what we call active case search. So we launched an operation, codename Operation Find Them Out. So we were going actively to search for these cases. That is why we've been seeing these cases like increasing, because in actual fact there is wide community spread. These cases are there, a lot of people were hiding. So
the surge is one, Mr.
The
surge is one. But it seems as though this way.
I am coming. So just allow me to go through. I have said the first wave, actually we had some few cases up to 50, and then we had the second wave that we had increased cases, and this is the third wave where we are seeing a different presentation. What we are seeing now among the normal rash and other thing are what we call the genital lesions, both in males and females. I think this is what you are alluding to. In any case, if you look at research all over the world where mpox is, sometimes in some settings or countries, 50 or 40% of these cases will develop what we call genital lesions, because and some of these ones with genital lesions will get maybe very few or no rash in the body, because much as mpox is a disease of contact, you get it from body fluids and all, it is a sexually transmitted infection as well. So it deals with the genitals as well. And if that happens, the genital area, we have this soft tissue, and then these places, it's very, very difficult in some ways for this. It's not like the rash or pustules that we are talking, but these are lesions like wounds and blisters that will actually turn into deep wounds and would actually penetrate in the genital organs, and these ones are actually very, very painful and difficult even to heal up. So you will find out that even when the rashes or other things might have subsided, then there will be a problem now of trying to heal these wounds and all of these things. And in fact, some of these cases that we are seeing now, that we are losing these cases, like 10, 11 of these cases, some of them their immune systems are compromised, and we earlier said this is why we should make sure that we prevent by those personal preventive measures, because if you are battling with certain diseases, for instance 2 or 3 other diseases, and then you have mpox, it will worsen the situation. At the end of the day, it will predispose you to other things. Like if you are admitted for mpox, for instance, you may be okay with mpox, but they will actually continue.
But why do you think why the surge? Earlier you have stepped up your measures. I mean, is that you the
surge?
Now why the surge now?
The surge is because we are bringing out more cases. We are doing active case search, because in a normal day these cases would be hidden. People are in the habit, when they are in, they don't come out. But if we decided to make sure that we go to every area, especially in the western area, to make sure that we bring out these cases. When you bring out these cases, you'll be able to line list their contacts, and these contacts, will be observed within a period of 21 days. If they show any sign, then they would actually be tested and treated. So we trace, we test, we treat. This is how we do. That's the normal procedure in any outbreak. But if you leave these cases out, some of them you might not know, and they will be, infecting others secretly. And Sierra Leone, if we compare, there are certain countries or settings that, we are very, very transparent. If we have 50 cases, 100 cases, we will say yes, we have these cases, because so you find out that when we have these cases, we bring it out, we publish it to the public so that they know. But looking at these cases in any outbreak, when you see the numbers go up, the day that you see it drops, then this is the actual turn or in the curve. Then you have like the curve is bending. Then you know that now we are getting over this one. But for now, we are making sure that even these 6 that have not been reporting cases are reporting cases. It is not that maybe they would not have gotten these cases, but it's a way of actually getting these cases out. Okay. This is exactly what we should do.
Mr. Thomas, you just spoke about your team being very active and doing active case search.
That's right.
How effective is that team? Because I could recall in March towards April, we had a staff member here who was infected by mpox. He spent about a month at the 34 military hospital, and not a single day or time we saw the Ministry of Health coming here to do a contact tracing, to check, because he works here and he was there for almost a month, and we were expecting the Ministry of Health to be here to do some contact tracing, but nothing was done. So don't you think these are all the reasons why we are having the surge in the number of cases, because people are just moving all around?
When you have a contact, you need to line list. When you have a case that is positive, you need to line list all of these contacts, and it will depend. This is subjective on what you will see. For instance, if I had contacted, let me say, 50 people, if I decide to say, okay, this is just my own family member, my wife, my child, and someone else, we would not, even when we probe, sometimes you would not even know that there are other contacts. People are concealing certain information. So this might be one, but this should not actually be an argument, because we can take this precious time in educating people. But these are some of the possible reasons.
So this is not a matter of argument. We are just saying, because if you have been very active, as you said you are very active in active case search, then we must have seen your team coming to the SL. We are not saying you are not doing your job, but this is a very big office, and that individual I'm talking about works here on a normal basis. And if he stayed at the 34 military hospital for almost a month or more than that, and then nothing of such is done at the Slbc, then it's a concern, because he must have noted in his when you are questioning him that he works at the Slbc.
That is what I'm saying. I would not. I don't know what investigations actually they did. But if he or she was actually honest enough to say, these are my contacts, then they would actually contact them. I have seen people who are vehemently denying that they have never contacted people. These are the things, or they will not actually give those information. And we don't know what happens in people's homes, in offices. We cannot actually know. And staying in the hospital for a month or so, this is actually, we have the case management. It will depend. They will actually discharge you when they see that you have sufficiently recovered, because you can go in the hospital for mpox, but they can also, if you have other conditions, they will not just discharge you because you are free of mpox. They will make sure that you have sufficiently recovered before you are being discharged.
Okay, so as we speak, what's the current status? Because people are scared. You have people who had wanted to come to Sierra Leone, but because of this surge in number of cases, some people are afraid to come. What's the current status as we speak?
Yeah, well, people should not should not panic. The only thing, we should make sure that we adhere to preventive measures. I always say mpox preventive measures are very simple. The instructions are easy to carry out. For instance, wash your hands with soap and water. This is non-pharmaceutical intervention. You don't need to take a vaccine, before you are protected, because the vaccines are very, they are limited. But the important thing is, we are all in the studio. By actually looking at all of us here, I am not seeing any visible sign of mpox. So if anybody is actually incubating mpox, the risk is not that high until you begin to show those physical signs, especially the rash, or you begin to get fever. So it's easy for you to say, okay, don't come near me because I'm seeing a rash, whether it's mpox or not. So these are easy things to carry out. But the problem that we're having is the risk perception, the denial, the behavior. Because I was in a studio, one of the television studios, with a survivor, and he said something which made a very good point to me, even when that person is just a lay person. He said he got mpox during the Ramadan period or so, when he went somewhere and came back. But what he was saying, and it makes good sense, that during the Lenten period, and it coincided with the Ramadan. So people were fasting, their behaviors was actually different. But after the Ramadan and the Easter, the Lenten and the Ramadan period, because people were saying, well, in bush and all of these things, it went up and then it subsided. That is how, this is simple. Lay epidemiology.
But
change is very, very much important.
In fact, it is
what you do in your own private places, we are not there.
Okay, now the thing is, yes, we have to be very careful the way we behave, because as you mentioned, behavioral change is very essential for us to get ourselves out away from mpox. But the thing is, don't you think also as a team, at some point you having stepped up your structures, in response to mpox, you let your guards down?
No, I don't believe so, because we had started this thing way long before we even the African Union, the African CDC, and even WHO actually made their declaration. We actually did a press conference and we made a press release about days before the African CDC declared mpox as a state of continental emergency, and then WHO actually, I think the day after, they declared mpox as a public health event of international concern. We had earlier spoken to people and started our sensitization about 9 months before we had it, while Liberia, Guinea, Benin, and all of these other countries.
But in contact is, if you have not, now, Mr. Thomas, if you have not actually put or let your guard down, now why the surge? If, for example, there was effective contact tracing, social mobilization, surveillance, I don't think that would have been a surge.
It's
like we're experiencing
these
now.
ones, surveillance, contact tracing is just one component of surveillance. We have so many. Right now in this institution also, when I came, I saw a lot of you all of you know what to do, but I have not seen like a hand washing station right here. Even in this studio there should have been hand sanitizer, and when I came in I saw some handshaking and interactions taking place. Do you want to tell me that you do not have the knowledge? You have, but the practices, the attitudes, the beliefs are also things that the National Public Health Agency or Ministry of Health or officials will not come into your studio to do this. I have gone to one supermarket last week. I was so impressed. There is hand station, washing station there. The security will politely tell you to go.
Whenever we don't have a washing station, we have sanitizer. But what I'm saying, all offices. What I'm saying, just to make your point clear, we do have a washing station. We have hand sanitizer all over the place. So that is just to clear the air.
So but then even if this is hypothetical, if it is, but then if this is hypothetical, but this is what it is like if you go to a lot of offices, and then they know they have this knowledge. So, but when the cases are going on, they say, what is the ministry, what is government doing? But we all have collective responsibility for MPOX.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thomas. Continue to stay with us. He is Howard Thomas, and he is from the Ministry of Health. This is Good Morning Sierra Leone, reaching you live from Broadcasting House, New England. We continue with one of our headline stories. In Sierra Leone, high number of young people struggle to access higher education and continue their schooling beyond the secondary school level due to the high cost of tuition and other related expenses. This situation has significantly reduced the number of skilled professionals in all walks of life that now affects the human capital and socio-economic development of the country. It is against this backdrop the Sierra Leone Student Loan Scheme Secretariat was established to offer educational loan to less privileged students wanting to pursue higher education in tertiary institutions accredited by the Tertiary Education Commission. How will students benefit from this loan scheme? Well, to take us through this is the Sierra Leone Student Loan Scheme Secretariat, where Prince Momo is Director of Loan Operations, Sierra Leone Student Loan Scheme. Good morning, Mr. Momo, and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
So, how will students benefit from this scheme, and how do you know that these people belong to this particular group that we actually want to offer this scheme to?
Yeah, we definitely like what you said in your highlight. The aim of the Secretariat of the Student Loan Scheme is to make sure students have access to higher education. Over the years we realize that people, after completing their first degree, it's difficult to pursue their masters. And if we want to bring quality into our institution, we have to make sure that we support students with further education beyond first degree. It's a pity when you see government investing so much from primary school, from class 1 to first degree. And then you see that having completed hours, they are not supported again to go to pursue their higher education. So I get it back to government, say, okay, let's see how we can support students who want to pursue higher education beyond high school level. So at the moment we piloted with masters, PhD and law school, you see these are for the experience. For the past 2 years we've been dealing with this category. We are yet to go to undergraduate. For the past 2 years we've been dealing with masters, PhD and law school. Sierra Leone, this in West Africa, Ghana being the first and Sierra Leone being the second country in West Africa who will be implementing the loan scheme. So over the past year, as I said, we've been working with the masters, PhD and law school. We piloted for the 2 years. So this year again we open a portal to give access to students who want to pursue their masters again and PhD and law school this year. We did an advertisement last month, 23rd, and we expect to close on the 22nd of this month. What is different from the way we're doing things last year and this year is that we want to make sure that as a ministry, we want to make sure that we ease the burden on students accessing our facilities. last year, we realized that there were some challenges in terms of accessing, in terms of application. So you have to go to the bank, pay, and then secure pay before you apply. So this year we are now placing on through what we call OneGov. OneGov is a platform created by government, wherein we have other ministries like road transport who are on that platform. I'm expecting that very soon SLBC will also join that platform called OneGov. So we join OneGov. We're using that platform now. You don't need to go to the bank to pay. You can be in your room and access our facility once you have your phone with you or your laptop. Well, first and foremost, Mr. Momo, what are the eligibility criteria? Because the thing is access. Probably there are some people who probably might be
criteria. You must be a Sierra Leonean. We don't want to incapacitate student, somebody who is not a Sierra Leonean. So what can prove to us that you are a Sierra Leonean? You must prove to us that you own a valid national ID card. That's how you're near. So that way we can track you to show that you're a Sierra Leonean. And secondly, you must have gained an admission into an approved university in Sierra Leone, approved by TAC. Yeah, so those universities must have been approved by TAC. And then we are working both private and public. This is not grantee aid. Grantee aid used to work with public university. But now for the student loan scheme, we are not focusing on only public university. We are also focusing on both private and public university. But once those universities are being approved by TAC and being decided in Sierra Leone, we can support.
So does that mean that as long as you've been admitted and you have your acceptance letter, and then you are a Sierra Leonean, and then you are pursuing postgraduate, and also
law school,
law school,
not undergraduate for law.
No.
But in law school,
because you must have done your bachelor for you to be admitted to the bar.
To the bar.
Yes. So now, is that an automatic qualification?
No, because we have that's what we are looking at here.
So what I'm saying, as long as now the first thing is you must have got your admission letter, acceptance letter, and you are a Sierra Leonean, and you are pursuing postgraduates or doing your exams for you to be accepted to be called to the bar. These two, the two I've just mentioned, among the most. I mean,
the most top.
In for you to
apply
to benefit.
To apply.
Now, once
apply doesn't automatically you get the facility.
But once you've gained admission, and you are pursuing a postgraduate, and you are at law school, the chance you have you stand a chance.
Your chance, So the other proof now lies with us. Well, we have to verify with the university to prove that you provided all this admission. We have to go back to the university that we receive an admission letter from X, Mr. X. Can you validate that this student is a registered student with your university? So once we get that confirmation from the university, yes, the other admission student will say to us, these are students who have gained admission into for instance. Then we now know that you meet that criteria, and then that's other level. So then the next level is to make sure we go to your employer, because we want to ensure that all employer give facility to the staff to pursue higher education.
You've also touched on something very sensitive here. Now you must be an employee. Is that among the criteria?
Because
what if this person has got his secured his first degree and he has been applying, he hasn't got one, he hasn't been employed, and he or she wants to pursue postgraduate. So that is disqualification.
No, I did initial stage, yes, because we want to make sure we are still in learning process. And so we want to see the pilot process. What we are trying to learn was that how can we deal with the application process? How can we deal with the recovery process? That will be the challenge. So now we move beyond that point now. So we'll get there, the other side of you being not employed. But for now, what we have to manage is the portfolio. Mind you, this is recovery. And what is a revolving loan? What we are collecting is what we are paying back for others today. We are on our list. It's a revolving loan.
So the collateral is your employer.
That's one. And your guarantor. The area we don't want to police Sierra Leone. We don't want to coerce you. What the area of the secretary and the ministry is to make sure that we give you access to higher education and to improve human capital development of your earning, of your monthly salary. No. If we are saying that, we are also
it's like you've mentioned. I know how expensive is postgraduate programs. And even the law school, because I have some of my friends who probably did not sit to the last exam, the law exam, the bar So for them to be accepted.
Because maybe they didn't apply.
They didn't pay.
Maybe
not because they didn't want to pay, but they didn't have the money.
Maybe they didn't apply to the scale. So that's true that these are the vulnerable ones. These are people who are looking for the support. Those who cannot afford to pay their fees. These are people who are looking for. So who can prove to us that you have no other means to pay. And we don't want to see you drop out of the university. So there are other criteria we are looking for. Somebody who can come to us and prove to us that you are vulnerable. You can't afford to pay.
Okay, so Mr. Momo, now that you are looking out, or you are calling on people, is the window open now?
The window is open.
It's now open.
It's now open. So like what I was saying, the procedure for this year is a little bit quite different from last year. Last year you have to go to the bank, the local commercial bank, pay, secure your pin before you apply.
Okay.
This year you have to apply, go into OneGov, sign in, you get to your password, you go to a platform, you apply, and then a PIN will generate. And you have to take that PIN, and then your platform will ask you. You are not paying for application, you are paying for the processing of your loan. Yeah? You are not paying for application, you are paying to process your loan. Just like any other financial. Our aim is not like a profit making.
And how much is that?
It depends. If you are for PhD, it's 750. For master, it's 500 millions. Law school is 500 millions. And also, once you pay that 500, that's what we use to process your loan. So once you secure your pay, the platform will ask you how they intend to pay for the process of your loan. You want to pay by alright money. If you say yes, you click alright money, and then the pin will come. You take that pin, go to your alright money, your phone, enter your alright that pin or your alright money, and you take away the 500 from your phone.
As a mother of the house, whenever I want to prepare palm soup, there's no need pounding difficult at all. In Kulenu palm soup base, it's easily done with no difficulties. Just take few ladles and your soup is done. And its flavor, it's amazing. This is Inkulenu's Ghana's original palm soup base. And this is Inkulenu's Ghana's original spiced palm soup base. Iron fruit and turkey berries are naturally added.
Also available brown gold natural cocoa powder, sunny gold brown sugar, neat fufu flour, shito, pisa and moringa. All available at Nyami Ado Enterprise, 1 Lower Waterloo Street, Freetown.
Inkulenu palm soup base.
Ghanaian original taste.
We are back, and the program you're still watching is Good Morning Sierra Leone, live from the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation television and through our social media handles. Now, statement is going so far.
Okay, thank you very much. So first off, we haven't started. We are set to start this week. Well, we're going out in the field this week, starting tomorrow. Last week we just completed the training of assessors. So basically we're looking at assessment for reassessment for teachers across the country, and this is an exercise that basically hinges on, well, it's part of the motivational packages for teachers. And what it does is, when the teacher applies to say, I want my status.
Are we something?
No, we're not doing something. So we have a targeted number. So that means we know the assessment of the teachers. What we're looking at is a teacher who has applied to say, maybe I entered the profession as an unqualified and untrained, as a UU teacher. But during the course of my service, I have acquired professional training and certification. So I have applied for my status to be reviewed instead of a UU teacher to now review my status to be a trained and qualified teacher. And that is supposed to reflect in that teacher's salary.
So does this apply to all teachers or only teachers in public schools?
Only teachers in public schools.
Some, you talk about the recovery of the monies being given out to students across the country. Now, my colleague was just asking, you have people whom after graduation they have spent more than a decade not being able to access any job opportunity, and yet these people, they are also Sierra Leoneans. They ought to be catered for, but they are not part of your plan. How do you hope to get these set of people to be part of the program so that they will also benefit from the national cake?
Yeah, it's our wish that we incorporate all Sierra Leonean, but the resources we have is not enough. As I said earlier, the loan is a revolving loan, and what we have is what we are using to pay for others. So if we don't have means of collecting, then we cannot support others. For now we are supported by government of Sierra.
What about those who are who are self-employers? Because some people they don't have a public or private job. However, they do get one for themselves.
Yes, as long as we have somebody who can guarantee us that you have what you're looking for is a source of repayment. Yeah, so that's what we are looking for. That means at source deduction. That who ensure that this money is being paid, because what we are saying that we don't want to move outside the act, so we are going to enforce the act. So the act is saying that if your employer who signed or somebody who guarantee you that this money will be paid at the end of the month, and then at the end of the month you are able to pay.
So how